Hey guys, this is Bobby Gibbs and welcome to episode 2 of the Cure Vertigo Now podcast, where you will learn everything you need to know for overcoming your vertigo or vestibular disorder. And at the moment, I'm currently sat here in the UK, London, and I have to admit, I'm very cold at the moment, so the climate here is just not the best. So for all those listening to this within the UK, please get a blanket, get a hot beverage, a cup of coffee, a tea. Just make sure you're warm. It's so cold here. So keep warm this winter and stay safe. Now, to begin today's episode, we've actually got a question from Melissa. Now, Melissa, she suffers from vestibular migraine, and she's got, "Hey Bobby, I suffer from vestibular migraine and I was wondering if you could help me out. I've currently been getting some really bad migraines lately and wanting to know what you would suggest for helping me to get rid of these migraines and for things to just get better over time. Thanks, Melissa." Okay, right. So vestibular migraine is in fact the second most biggest cause behind vertigo within Europe. And in general, actually, 50% of people are actually undiagnosed with this condition. So just in answer to your question, the first thing that you can do, of course, is go to your GP or doctor or vestibular specialist and get VRT training. So that's vestibular rehabilitation training or therapy. And what this will do over time, this will help to rehabilitate the vestibular system, and it will help you to readjust to the vestibular deficit that you're currently suffering from at the moment. As what's happened is, because your vestibular system's not functioning optimally, we need to basically reprogram the brain with the help of neuroplasticity, which is the brain's ability to readapt and reprogram itself in cases where we may need to learn new functionalities or functions that we may have lost due to injury, such as being hit or struck in the head, for example, and we basically need to relearn these things again. So VRT will definitely help with that. And the main thing why VRT is so useful is because, in particular, it helps the visual system to also work in conjunction with the vestibular system, as the two really do work very closely together here. And if, for example, you may be out, you may be doing a bit of shopping and you may make a quick head movement, and then all of a sudden you suddenly feel a sensation of dizziness, and we definitely don't want that for you. So Melissa, I'd highly suggest VRT. And in fact, you can also get my book, which is the Vertigo Treatment, where there's several VRT exercises that will help you with overcoming your vestibular migraine and just strengthening the vestibular system and getting it back to a much better working state for you. As well as that, you also want to consider your environment, and what I mean by this is your day-to-day environment in terms of where you may work and where you may spend most of your time. So, for example, if you are working within a noisy environment with a lot of construction noise going on in the background, for example, you really want to make sure that you can avoid that as much as possible, because even those noises, they can trigger migraines, they can trigger headaches, they can make you just feel bad in general. And that's another thing that you really want to avoid. So consider your environment. Even consider the things that you may look at throughout the day. So, for example, you may notice like a strange pattern on a wall that you may see at work, and it may just look like a spiral, or you may see some lines that are black and white or yellow and red. And even these patterns or these things that you may look at, they can just trigger dizziness, especially if the eyes aren't well integrated with the vestibular system. So you really do want to just take note of where your surroundings on a day-to-day basis, And a few other major pointers to also consider is medication that you may or may not be taking as well. This can also have an impact upon your vestibular migraine, and as well as stress as well. Stress is another big thing. As most of us are already aware of, stress can cause so many issues, conditions. Stress can do so much, and this is mainly due to a hormone known as cortisol, which is released under stress. It's also normally released when we exercise as well. But in very extreme cases, if you've got a lot of this hormone, it can really wreak havoc on our bodies, and it can cause a whole load of other things. So really try and relax more. Take a nice warm bath, get a massage, do as many nice relaxing things that you can in general. And just one more to put out there, your diet as well. Certain foods can also trigger vestibular migraine as well. This can vary from person to person, but a thing that usually helps with some vestibular disorders is to lower sodium levels as well. You just want to make sure your salt intake is particularly low as well. You really don't want to have much sodium, as this can influence the liquid within the vestibular system, which is known as endolymph, and it can just make you feel really dizzy. So cutting down on salt intake can help quite a lot, depending on the person and the severity of the vestibular disorder. So, Melissa, I hope I've managed to help you with this episode. And if you have more questions, please feel free to email me. That is at bobby@curevertigonow.com. Feel free to join our support group as well. Always here to help in that. We're all friendly within that support group. And please also feel free to just leave a comment, leave a review, subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next episode. Take care.